all, in the end, I'm just praying that the struggle
coming from Chicago, I you see people out all the time,
so you can still see that they were in a toughest outfit with Elgin too,
that statement comes from Pastor Dexter. When I say my work, I just have to do it. So, when I
I am Stephen Jacide, author, writer of Tell the World Understanding Oneself, and welcome to another episode of One-on-One with Chris Summers. Thank you, Chris.
Hey, thank you for having me.
I appreciate it, brother.
Hey, man, no problem at all. No problem at all.
Man, we gotta give him a show today, man.
Let's do it. That's what I'm here for. You see my energy, my pop-tasticness, so
always, man.
It's contagious, so please be careful, people.
All right, guys, let's get this going. So, Chris, MaMa Lee's Popcorn.
Yes.
3 locations.
3 locations.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. 3 locations within 3 years.
Within 3 years.
Yeah.
So it's like a location
every year.
So that means in another 2 more years we have like 5 locations or double.
I'm thinking about doubling. Yeah. So I'm trying to take it to another level and get the business to a level to being able to be franchised. So that way I don't have to physically exalt myself and drain myself. If I can start teaching other people how to do it, then that's going to be the direction that we kind of start steering.
So that means you're going to have like Chris Summers Business School or something?
Yes. The Poptastic Academy, that's what we're going to call it, the Poptastic Academy.
Oh, I like that.
You like that?
I like that, Poptastic.
Man,
you on your way though, man. I remember about 3 years ago, I wasn't even doing what I'm doing now. I was trying to figure myself out, figure things out.
Yes.
But one of the things to where I got off my butt was you.
See?
When I saw that first location, and then when I came in there, because I was like, it's not that too many real people around here. Let's just, sometimes you gotta get out and just.
I remember clear as day.
Yeah.
Me and your girl, y'all walk past, let me get some of this popcorn. And after that, it just kind of sparked our relationship, man. And we was able to chop it up and see what we had in common.
Yeah.
And just to see you writing your book, even before you was like, I'm working on the book. I'm working on the book. I remember those baby steps, and that's what it takes. Those baby steps add up to the bigger picture as a whole, but a lot of people don't see that, behind the scenes. They don't see
the end result.
They just, that's it.
You know what the middle part.
Right, that journey, that walk, the stress, the pressures, the want to give ups, they don't see that part. But that's cool,
So that's why, I appreciate you being who you are, because it definitely motivated me to be the person.
We're gonna make some noise,
man. Business owners, entrepreneurship.
Yes.
So that's where I'm at today. Thank you. Man, let's get with these questions, man. Where did you grow up?
So grow up. I guess I got the best of both worlds. So I was born in Chicago.
Okay.
I lived in Chicago until I was 6, and then my mother moved to Elgin. So I grew up in Poplar Creek. So I'm a creek boy. I guess that's what you would call it. So I grew up right here in Elgin, and most of my family's still in Chicago. So, like I said, I always did my commute back and forth to Chicago to stay with my roots there.
Yeah.
But Elgin is home.
Yeah.
Elgin is home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm from Chicago. I'm from the west side of Chicago.
Me too. Really? Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Me too. L-Town.
L-Town. It's crazy that I didn't even know that.
See? Right now, exclusive. Now we're gonna have that Chicago lingo right now. Like, all right,
time out.
So no wonder why we entrepreneurs, because it was the water out west. That out west water. It was a little different.
It had less fluoride or something.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
That's what it was.
The school lunches or something.
Man, look, I was just talking to somebody the other day, and we were reflecting. I remember being in kindergarten up to first grade. And do you remember the graham cracker peanut butter sandwich?
Oh yeah.
That was in silver foil.
Silver foil. Purple and silver.
Purple and silver. I said, man, or the donuts in the morning.
The super donuts.
Yeah. Like, man. I'm like, man, them old days. I remember
the lunch cards. You remember the lunch cards?
The lunch cards. I remember they used to bring our lunch in a cooler.
Yeah. Oh no. To the classroom.
To the classroom.
Oh, God. Wait, what school did you go over with?
I went to Howe.
Okay, I went to John Hay.
Okay, you right up the street on Laramie.
Yeah. Laramie
Division.
Laramie. Small world.
Yeah. So I was off of Lincoln and Huron. So
and I was like something everywhere. I was on Division in Laramie.
Okay.
Those little buildings, 2 flats right
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
or whatever. And then we were on like Latrobe and Lockwood, something like that.
so those go. So it's either Latrobe and Lockwood, they side by side. So if you was, it could have been
Lockwood and one of them, Lockwood and something streets. I thought it was
Augusta.
Because
that
maybe Augusta and Lockwood, maybe.
Okay, okay.
You know, and then we went up the street. With Balafali Park.
Oh, yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
So that's L Town for you.
L-Town
And
all
then you
day.
got some people that grew up in K Town. You know what I mean? But it's just crazy that that people, we started out like that. So
Right.
that's technically we were supposed to be. Excuse my language, but. Well, I'm not gonna curse, but
He was about to curse, y'all.
we're not supposed to be as successful as we are today.
Yes,
You know?
yes, and I think that's one of my drives personally. Just
Mhm.
knowing that when you think about statistics and you think about how you were brought up and what you came from, that's my push. That's my drive. To say, look, you know what, I'm gonna beat those odds.
Yeah.
And whatever people may have thought or had any assumptions, you know what, I'm gonna be able to take my life back
Yeah.
and do the best that I possibly can. And that's what it's all about.
Exactly, man. Exactly. I totally agree. How was you as a child? Was you like active or? Because I get every day was a butt whooping for me. Every day.
So I was an active, very active child, but I was kind of standoffish too. So like I like my personal space. So I love to go outside and play. I mean that made my childhood the best. I remember taking lightning bugs and putting
on
my
your ears.
playing outside, catching. I remember getting scraped up. So I enjoy being outside. But early on, I identified that I kind of like my space. My mom used to say, you really don't ask for too many people to come over to the house too much. And I'm like, no, I'm cool. This is my quiet time. And I'm kind of the same way now. I love, people, but I like my downtime, whether it's to read or whatnot. Just to have that time for myself. And that's something I enjoy. But overall, man, I say I had a good childhood. A very good childhood.
Yeah.
I mean, some of these kids now need to go outside, go
They
play.
need to yeah.
But man, I cannot spend too much time in front of a video game or on my phone too much. Like, let me go out and get some fresh air. That's what I enjoyed about my childhood. But overall, I say I had a fun, good childhood. I mean, of course, growing up in the black community, I think sometimes, we're exposed to a lot of things at an early age. So it was pretty cool, but it ultimately, we grew up fast, but it helped us mature. And I think that's one of the pluses is where, hey, you probably had to take on some responsibilities that other people probably wouldn't have to take on. But you just know the thing. I remember ironing my clothes at 8 years old, and doing chores. To where my kids now, it's like, man, it's like pulling teeth and nails. Like, hey, come on, need you to clean your room. Like,
they don't even I remember staying up late, ironing clothes with flour and water.
Oh man, that blue bottle with the Stay Flow.
Stay Flow.
Man, I had to.
Well, that's why I said flour and water because we couldn't afford Stay Flow.
No, I had the Stay Flow. Man. if I ran low, then I get the flour with the starch.
Or the Niagara.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Crispy. Look, pants like cardboard walking.
Oh man, those were days, man. Oh wow, you taking me all the way back, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Were you always in a business mindset?
Whoo! Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Since day one. I mean, I just knew it. I remember my dad telling me when I was young, he was like, always work to be your own boss, and that kind of set the tone. Like, man, be my own boss. Make your own decisions. So I always been an entrepreneur. I always been very ambitious. And it's pretty cool to be able to identify it now because through the process, when you really start reflecting on yourself as an individual when you were young, and it was like, oh my God, this has always been me.
Yeah.
This has always been me. It was destined, and I think what happens is it's just life just catching up to your purpose and what you're supposed to be.
That's what,
So yes, I always had that business mentality, that mindset, So it's just like me owning a business now. It's like it was destined. Like I mean, if people come into the shop, I kid you not, it's this picture of me when I was 4 years old with a red bow tie, So hence, that's why I wear red bow tie.
So it was like predestined.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and I had on like a nice blazer with this red bow tie and this smile. And often I look at that picture and I say, man, like, as I look at this picture, now mind you, it was me, but I'm looking at the younger me and I'm like, man, like, you had no idea, but did you have an idea? And it's like, yeah, I knew back then that I was going to be. I remember being like in high school, I would stand in the bathroom and just envision me in suits and, you know, talking to a board. And, you know, I do talk to myself, right? Yes, I talk to myself.
Wow.
So I'm going to tell everybody that's watching, you need to start talking to yourself.
Tell them.
It's important, you know. Sometimes, you know, a lot of people wait on a lot of other people to encourage them, but you know, one thing I learned, it's just better to encourage yourself. You know, so I do talk to myself, not crazily talk to myself, but when I get up in the morning, I say, hey man, you finna have a pop-tastic day, go do what you gotta do. I just remind myself. So I would just remember when I was young, I would, you know, stand in the mirror and just envision myself and talk like, hey, how would I be talking to other people? What would I look like, you know, in front of other people? I remember I would start putting on suits and be like, yeah, you know, like, yeah, I'm like, you know what, I got this. So yeah.
Well, you know, a lot of times in the elite schools, they teach the kids to imagine themselves, what they want to be, and that's a lot of things they took out of the schools because they look at imagination and visualization as some type of sorcery.
I don't think so.
Yeah, and you know, as I got older, you know, I meditate all the time and visualize because it was not until I started visualizing until things started to rapidly change. Because when I came out of visualization, my environment was different, and I wanted my environment to match on the inside of me. So that's when I decided to make a change, and people were like, well, you talk different, you look different, well, you're not hanging around the same people, so on and so forth. And that's only because, you know, we're going to talk about it later, my self-image. I close my eyes, I vision, I see something, and I work towards that.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what you said you're doing that for. Like, it's crazy. That's crazy, man.
How everything, I mean, like I say, it's amazing, like, you know, but what you just said, you know, and visualizing things. I read tons of books, you know. One of my favorite books is Think and Grow Rich. Come on, come on, like
Napoleon Hill, baby.
Come on,
Napoleon Hill, baby. See, every day, man.
Every day.
Every day.
Another one is Harv T. Eckert, and that's another book that I read. But you know, he's getting this pen.
Excuse me, brother. Because see, right there I got top mentors: Andrew Carnegie, Napoleon Hill, Kevin Trudeau, Bob Proctor. You got to check out Charles F. Hannell. The Master Key System. I promise you, I was listening to the audiobook today. It's one of them things where I'm looking like, is this a secret type? Because it's something I never heard before, even though I heard it, but it's almost like it's heard in a new form, especially as being on this entrepreneurial path. Now when I hear these things coming from these gentlemen, it's almost like it's a mind transformation and it's warped. You know what I mean? Especially coming from our environment, because you know the music that we listen to, and you know, even when I study certain mentors, they talk about sound frequency. And they talk about, you know, how sound frequency can alter your DNA. So I'm starting to think, I'm like, holy, whoa. And now I'm starting to think about, now I will listen to R&B, but it's when I'm in the gym because it gives me the pump. And, you know, I want to.
See, I'm with you. So, you know, I remember maybe when I was maybe like 22, 23-ish, that's when I kind of left the hip hop scene, right? And it was because music make you feel a certain type of way. Right? So you got to think about what you're listening to. Now, mind you, it's one thing to get pumped up, right? But if you're getting pumped up on selling drugs or, you know, degrading women or whatever it may be, like, okay, is that positivity that you putting inside of you or that you listening to? No, like, you know, so ultimately I cut it out. Like, you know, I started really paying attention. It's just like my kids. I don't allow them to listen to it, but I teach them, you know, and I explain. I just don't, hey, don't listen to what you're paying. It's like, no, listen to what you're really saying. Like, you know, what's cool, don't get caught up on the beat or just the chorus. What's his lyrics? You know, what's the lyrics? You know, and he finna kill somebody. You know, okay, what's a Draco? I had to ask my son, you know, what's a Draco? My son had no idea what a Draco is, right? And I'm like, what's a Draco? He like, I don't know, you know, but I don't know. I'm like, it's a gun, you know, but why do you need to talk about all these things? But just explain and say, hey, be conscious of what you listening to, and mind you, and that's something that I take for myself, you know, this is where, hey, I be very careful and mindful on what I listen to or what I entertain, you know, and that's what a lot of people need to do, especially being an entrepreneur, like you said, you know, reading books, man, if you're trying to get to a higher level, you need to be on that same frequency as those that done great things already.
Sir.
You know what I mean?
People do not know how strong reading, you know, it doesn't have to be, you know, the Bible or anything like that. And I have highly respect for the Bible. But just books in even different countries, I think people are not aware of. Because a lot of information, you know what I mean, comes from not just the U.S., but from other countries. As a matter of fact, the U.S. hire, you know, people from other countries to come over here for development and NASA research, so on and so forth. So in my mind, I started looking at people in other countries and start, you know, looking at information. It's just, it's so crazy because not only that, when they say leaders are always readers, you know, you can't teach or learn or do what we do if you're not willing to read how somebody else have already done it.
Exactly. I think that's what a lot of people get misconstrued, because when they see success, they just think that, oh, you know, it's just like me, right? People can say, oh man, you got 3 businesses. Oh man, it's just, man, no, I read, you know, man, I try to get as much knowledge as possible, you know what I mean? Because that's something that I learned, even with wealth. You know, a lot of people can obtain wealth, but it's about what do you do with that wealth that you obtain to have you be wealthy in the long run, or to leave a legacy, you know? And that's what a lot of people don't take advantage of, or they don't dig deep enough to say, okay, well look, okay, if this is now, how can I invest, or what should I invest in? You know? So all the time. So that's why I always say, man, knowledge is power. I read, man. That's why I like my quiet time. You know, man, let me sit back, have my quiet time. Let me just think. Let me clear my thoughts. Let me come with my next strategy. Let me envision, you know, what I want to have. I sum it up. I told my son this year for my birthday, 2019, I'm gonna buy myself a Maserati. So my son's like, whoa, right? He's 9. Whoa, Dad, I'm like, I'm gonna buy me a Maserati, right? So I took him to the dealership.
What you supposed to do?
Right? And we had to go sit in that Maserati, right? You gotta smell it. You gotta smell it. You gotta feel it, right? And I told him, hey, this is part of envisioning. Like, you can have the things that you want, you know, but you gotta really put yourself in that place in order to get it. But I explained to him, you know, me purchasing this car is not just for myself, you know, it's to show other people that, hey, if I can do it, because me and you having this conversation, and we breaking down that, man, we from Chicago. Oh yeah, from Chicago. What part of Chicago? West Side. I'm from the West Side. Where? L-Town. Me too, right? But just to show that, hey, here's a young black entrepreneur, right? And so many words he's telling and saying that, hey man, he's reading, and right, but to also allow that car, because it's materialistic, it's only a car, but to be able to inspire, because naturally sometimes people need that motivation to say, dang, man, he got this, man, but he's telling me I need to read more in order to get it, you know, or these are some of the steps that he had to do in order to get that piece of materialistic stuff, you know what I mean? And that's stuff that I always teach my children, to where it's only materialistic, you know. Man, if I only had the Maserati for a week, hey, at least I own that Maserati. I'm not gonna cry about it, you know what I mean? If I own it for a year, 2 years, hey, it's only materialistic, you know. But ultimately, let people know to where, hey man, you can have that life that you desire, but you gotta put that work in. Now, mind you, is it gonna be easy to go get that Maserati? No, but that's my motivation to make me go work harder, right? The Maserati is just, you know, just a byproduct. Like, all right, okay, whatever. But ultimately, it's to motivate me to be like, man, I'm gonna go work harder, right? Because ultimately, if I'm working harder, I know my business is gonna grow to a whole nother level, and that's just a small little present. Like, hey, man, you did it, right? But hey, you gotta pat yourself on the back sometimes and encourage yourself. Absolutely.
Man, I like that, man. You need a lot of things on a lot of things. Like, man, you done got to the. I'm gonna have to go down. This man, Have you said the 3 locations? Well, we know about the first location.
Okay, so first location is Elgin, downtown Elgin, right here.
Elgin, Illinois.
We have Spring Hill Mall, which is in West Dundee, and then we have Ford City Mall, which is in Chicago outside.
So just in case you guys don't know, he is at Ford City Mall.
Yes,
Southside Chicago.
Southside Chicago. Or you can go online, mamaleespopcorn.com.
And I'm sure you guys already know, he's everywhere. He's like famous in Elgin.
Hey, it's funny you say that because I was in Jewel earlier, and I'm checking out, and the lady like yelled like, "Hey, that's the popcorn man! Hey, what Christmas flavors you got?" You know, I'm like, God, I'm like, yeah, we gonna do peppermint crunch, you know, like peppermint crunch for the holiday, yeah.
How does that make you feel that you're walking now? You know what I mean? And people just recognizes you.
It feels good. But ultimately, I ask myself, what are you going to do with that? You know, like, how can you help other people, you know, in the process, you know? So even with, you know, my business, you know, my energy, people that come in, and I always say, man, I'm pop-tastic. It's like, man, my rule of thumb is when I do look at my business, I look at it as being a ministry and it's a life, right? Because I know what other business and big corporate businesses, they do, right? You know, you come in, hello, they're gonna welcome you. But you know, at Mama Lee's, we ask about, you know, how's your day? You know, let's build that relationship. Let's build that community within inside that community. You know, I always envision, you know, being able to know people by first name and know what they want when they come inside of the store. You know, that's the plus. So my whole thing is when people come in, I want the popcorn shop to be that place to go, that happy place. You know, the mini Disney World that's on the corner where you can just walk in and be like, man, they're gonna have vibrant colors, they're gonna welcome us with a smile, they're gonna be happy to see us. So ultimately it feels good, you know, because naturally when people can, even if they don't know my name, they can call me Mr. Popcorn or the Popcorn Man. If they can identify the brand, the bow tie and the shirt, naturally I know it's clicking to say, man, popcorn. And when I had that popcorn, man, it always made me feel good when I get that popcorn. You know, so it feels really good. But, you know, naturally it's being able to keep being a part of the community, keep getting involved more with the community and just really allowing people to identify me and be able to be proud. Like one thing I say, like the business is just not for me, it's for the community. This is something that every community should be happy to be like, you know, when people get excited to where, oh, we got a Starbucks coming to our town, right? Like, okay, it's coffee. But I want people to be excited like, man, there's a Mama Lee's in our town.
Like they do
man, we come, man, it's happy up, man. It's pop-tastic, man. I can't wait to go get some of this popcorn. They're gonna have their turquoise shirts, their red bow ties, you know. That's what I look for. So it's pretty cool being able to go to different towns. I mean, within Elgin and Dundee, even in Chicago now, this is where people they be able to identify me. And it's like, all right, okay, this is working. You know, this is working. And that's the whole thing when I think about success. You know what I mean? Because I always say no matter how successful I may be or get, you know, I want people to be able to touch me. You know what I mean? I don't want to be too big to where I got fall back. You know, I don't think I will never be that person, you know. But you know, I want people to be able to come talk. Hey man, tell me, you know, what advice would you give me, or what should I do? Or hey, I just want to talk to you. You know, never be too busy or feel like, hey, I'm more than or you less than me. Nah, because that's just not my personality. So I think about, when I think about success, I think about, man, you know, wouldn't it be cool to become a millionaire? This is what I envision. I say, I know it's gonna be great. And in my mind, and right now I already speak, I say, man, I'm a millionaire. You know, I said, I just know that when the money lines up to my account to make it official, but I said, right now I'm already a millionaire. But I think to myself, to where when people see me, wouldn't it be even cooler? Because naturally I realize that some people are intimidated of wealthy people. You know what I mean? They don't know what to say, right? They stuck. Oh, I ain't gonna say nothing. Hey, let me step away from them, right? They bougie, right? I'm not that person. Look, I want people to come up to me, hey Chris, what's up? You know, man, what's going on? You know, you want to come out? Hey, come on, let's go. You know, whatever. But I think that's important because you don't see that a lot, you know, within community. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's tons of wealthy people within Elgin, West Dundee, right? But naturally, to be able to go back to show other people how it happened, or if they can give any advice for that next person to get to that level.
Nice, man. You gonna be on Steve Harvey one day.
Come on, man. I receive that. Come on, I receive that. Steve! We at Steve.
Steve on Steve. Hey, Steve Harvey. Hey.
Steve, we at Steve.
Hey, Steve. Hey.
Hey.
Link with Chris Summers, Mama Lee's Popcorn.
Hey.
All right, man. Why do you think business ownership is important?
Oh, it's important. But I mean, it's important.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's a tough question, right? Because I realize that, and it's okay, everybody's not meant to be a business owner.
I'm glad you went there.
You know, and sometimes I think a lot of people do start things and their heart's not really into it, you know, and then when it fails, they feel like, oh man, wow, because maybe it just wasn't meant for you. Maybe you, at that point in time, it doesn't mean that that person can come. But naturally, I think that it's important because naturally, I believe everybody desires a certain level of freedom, right? And if you're working for somebody else, the chances of you getting that freedom that you truly desire, it would probably never happen, you know, because naturally you will always have to hit that clock or, you know, put in that vacation time. But now, mind you, being a business owner, it don't mean that I get vacations every day, man. I work 7 days. I work 10 days a week, right? But naturally, it's just building up to know that one day, you know, I'll be able to have that freedom that I long for, you know. But not even that, you know, to be able to pass it down to my children, you know. I mean, there's a lot of benefits with being a business owner.
Sure is.
Even from a tax standpoint.
Sure is.
You know, so it's like,
Listen, guys.
why not start a business, even if it's at home business, right? I mean, you can write off half of your house payment, you know, by having your office there, you know. You want the car that you desire, if it's your business card, then you can write that off. You know, but that's education. You know, that's learning. You know, to where a lot of people don't think about it. And sometimes they just, whoa, no, I don't want to do that. Oh, too much responsibility. Yeah, it is responsibility if you want to have a successful business.
And if you want true freedom, look up, try to think about the LLC or nonprofit. Because that's where that freedom is going to come. And that's a lot of things that they do not tell us in school. Oh, that's okay. That's what this show is here for. That's what you're here for. Yes, that's what we're here for.
You know, they don't teach financial literacy in school. They don't. They don't. And mind you, I tell everybody, I went to school, college for a semester. You know, and I started my business at 19. That was my first business was a small little clothing store. You know, but naturally, it's just learning. Like I said, just because you don't go to school don't mean that you can't continue to learn. And that's why it's important to continue to read and continue to develop your mind. So is it important on business ownership? Yes, it is important. I mean, but that person, I would say, just have to have that drive, that dedication to run that business, right? Because I feel like if you're going to do something, your whole heart should be into it. You know, ain't no sense of doing it. Like, I don't know, because naturally, you know, it's a book. It was talking about the ancient warriors or whatever, how they would, when they would go to other countries to fight and sell, they would burn their ships. And the reason why they would burn their ships, it was to let all of the soldiers know to where, hey, we over here. There's no way for us to get back. The only way we getting home is if we conquer this, because there ain't no ships to go hop into to go sail back home. So we here. But naturally, what that does is motivate people to say, man, if I burn that ship, right, I'm all in. I have no other choice. There ain't nowhere else for me to go. I'm all in. And that's something that I did when I started MaMa Lee's. You know, I had a job. 2 days after opening MaMa Lee's, I quit, you know, because I knew that if I still worked a full-time job, that I would have never gave my business that the dedication that it deserved, you know. So I burned that bridge, and I didn't look back. You know, I'm here, and I just think if I would have kept it, the moment that I hit a bumpy road or a slow season, I would have been like, you know what, I'm going to shut this thing down. I'm going back to work, right? But I knew it wasn't no job to go back to, you know, and that's what kind of made me push, you know, to go to that next level, to say, look, man, ain't no turn back. You know, every day when I wake up, man, I think, man, God, thank you, right? And a lot of times people say, man, why you so determined, man? What's to you? You know, and I'm like, man, look, I know what I'm trying to accomplish in this life, you know, and I'm not letting anybody or nothing step in my way.
Absolutely not.
You know, nothing. You know, man, look, hey, whatever it takes. You know, sometimes my wife, she'll tell me, she's like, hey, man, you hurt. You work a lot. Man, you always say, listen. I had to tell her. I'm like, look, man, I know the life that I desire. You know, I know what I want to leave my grandchildren. See, my children are already a part of the process, but I know the life that I want to leave and have for my grandchildren. You know, see, I'm speaking long term. You know, even my great grandchildren. You know, to where naturally I want them to be like, man, my grandfather put in work.
Generational wealth.
Yes, I just one of my friends the other day. He just asked me. He said, man, what you think your grandkids gonna call you? And I'm like, man, you're not. And it was funny that he asked, right? Because a lot of times, a lot of people don't want to think about that. I want to have plans lined up for them. You know. I said, man, I don't know, man. Maybe G-pop, you know. I don't know. And he was like, man, you know, Chris, you know, popcorn, you know, maybe pop. And I'm like, oh, that's the name, pop. They gonna call me pop. And I was excited. I'm still excited. Like, man, that's gonna be my name, pop. Hey, pop. Right? And it's going to be cool because I know one day they're going to be able to, they maybe even be able to watch this podcast right here and say, man, that was my grandfather. And look how he was, you know, man. Because naturally, and it may be somebody else shouting, like, I don't know who this guy is. But man, I'm from the west side of Chicago too, man. I'm from right, but man, if he did it, I can do it too. You know? So naturally, that's what I think it's about, man, you know. Just ultimately just building up, man, and just staying focused, you know, on your dream.
Before we move to the next question, give a shout out to your family out west, man, or anybody out west.
Hey, family. Hey, how y'all doing? No, I'm just playing. Everybody know I love them. I got family all over, but everybody that's from Chicago, most definitely love you all. I know you all are proud of me. I'm proud of you all being my family. I'm proud of my friends that's out there, you know, and that's something that's really cool too, is because even the friends that I have out there, you know, to know that, man, like, dang, like, man, he really did. It's just like my barber. I got baby pictures of my first haircut, man, from my barber. It's so cool, man, because he called. He said, man, Chris, I'm proud of you, man. And he was like, you know, I want to start selling your popcorn inside of my barbershop. And it's so cool because when you get to the roots, right there, Herbs, if y'all know what Herbs Barbershop is, right on Chicago Avenue in Elgin.
Herb's still there?
Yeah, Herb's still there.
No way.
Yeah, Herb's still there.
Wow.
Yeah, Herb's still there. But it's pretty cool because even seeing him, you know, he was like that real entrepreneur in the beginning because he had his barbershop. You know, I remember he's still in real estate. You know, he still does real estate. But just to see it, and it's like, man, you know what? It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, just going back, man, and just being able to see and still be connected to people, but to also to be able to inspire people. You know, because naturally, I know that it kind of it's inspiring or it's motivating to say, man, you know what? Maybe I made bad choices down that path, you know, for anybody, right? But for them to know to say, you know what, man, it ain't over for me. You know, a lot of people always say, man, you know, they get caught up with age and talking about I'm old, you know. I'm like, man, I'm young. Like, man, I'm young. I'm not even at my prime. That's what I'm telling people. I haven't even hit my prime yet.
And then the older you get, they always say, oh no, the 50s, the new 20s, the 60s, the new 20s. So I'm just like, well, we forever young.
We forever young.
You know,
yeah, forever.
Like I was telling Ron Anderson, the black don't crack. Especially when you're taking care of your health.
Oh yeah, as long as you're taking care of your health, man, that's the key.
Yeah,
that's the key.
Yeah, man. Shout out to the Lark family out west Chicago and everybody else, all my friends out west Chicago. Shout out to Marshall High School as well, the high school I graduated from. Charles Sumner Elementary School. Shout out to Charles Sumner Elementary.
Fifth Avenue.
Oh, man, you know about Charles?
Look, my grandfather stayed on Fifth Avenue.
3250 Fifth?
Well, I don't know the address.
I think it's 3250. Don't quote me on that. But
look, hey, quote him. He said it. But hey, right on Fifth Avenue though. It's on Fifth Avenue.
Fifth Avenue cost me. But Yeah, man, I just had to get that shout out. You know what I mean? Just let them know, because that's where I come from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I had to do that shout out, let people know, you know, that was then, this is now.
Yeah.
You know? And we're going to do bigger, better things.
Absolutely.
You know? What's a day like with Chris? Walk us through right quick, brother.
Oh, a day. Out the bed, clothes on, fully dressed about 7, you know. I mean, having 3 stores, so it's basically, you know, getting ready and communicating with the locations to see what's on the agenda, what orders we have. At this point, you know, having the 3 locations, you know, my role kind of changed. So now I'm the one that's kind of overseeing and doing all the maneuvering around. So for the most part, you know, I may start off in Elgin, you know, some part of the day. I'm in Chicago, you know. I may come back to Elgin, you know, depending on how the day is. I may be back in Chicago.
Ain't no crazy when that's how they do on the streets, you know, with the dope. You know, they from over here to over there to over here, you know, and that's what we're here to let people know. You don't got to do that. Just flip it around, turn it around,
and do something positive.
Exactly.
Do it the legal way.
Yeah.
You know, I think, you know, it's funny that you talk about the dope in the streets. You know, there's so much talent. Right. There's so much talent. And mind you, it can be quote unquote the fast dollar. But I mean, there's 100 million ways to make a fast dollar legally.
Yes, sir.
You know, but it's about just using this. I mean, naturally, I'll say this: the average drug dealer is an entrepreneur.
Yep.
You know, so that's a skill right there in itself. You know, it's like, okay, if you can sell something, bad, right? You can darn sure sell something good. I mean, you can sell a pair of socks, some orange juice, some apples. It's all about how you put your twist to it. I kid you not, and the whole world can have this one. You know, coming from Chicago, you know, you see people out all the time, and they probably, especially in the summertime, they selling water, right? And mind you, I may even do it, right? But it's amazing how people sell water, but their sales can be so high if they was presented the right way, if their appearance was the right way, right? If you had on a shirt, a blue shirt, a hat, and looked legit while you were selling that water, man, you know how many more people would want to buy that water from you?
Makes sense.
You know, so that's something, you know. So when you see those people that put their time and energy into the streets, I mean, put that time and energy to yourself. You know what I mean? There's other ways and other avenues. Go sell some cars somewhere. You selling something now, that's what you like, go sell cars. You know, the check from a car be bigger than, you know, selling one bag or whatever it may be, you know, and no jail time. You know, so that's something that a lot of people should most definitely hear. If you putting your energy into the streets, do something legal. You know, figure it out. Do something legal.
I totally agree, man. What's in store for you for the next 10 years, Mr. Summer?
10 years. He's going to the long-term goals right here. Long-term goals. A decade from now. Let's see. I'm 31. I'll be 41 at the time.
I'll be 34. I mean 44.
44. I'm about to say, you'll be 34.
I'm like, oh, I wish.
Like, whoa. 10 years from now, my 10-year game plan. My 10-year game plan. I'm not going to say to be able to retire, because I don't think I would be that retired type. But to be at that level of having that financial freedom, right? And it's not more so about just growing. I say with 10 years from now is having solid relationships with people, right? And when I say relationships, because right now I say I still feel like I'm a small fish, right? 3 locations to me, that's just small. Like I'm still a tadpole, right? I ain't even a fish. I ain't even eating yet, man. I'm still a baby.
I mean, I ain't born yet.
Yeah, I'm still a baby, man. So 10 years from now is really building relationships, man, and having some of those bigger contracts that's out there. You know, being in places to where maybe I can only imagine, being in stadiums. You know, like right now we small, but I wanna be that household. When you go to the Cubs, we walking in them stands, Mama Lee's, right? You know, we got the popcorn crew out there, you know, giving you some gourmet popcorn. But 10 years from now, man, is to most definitely have a warehouse, man. Yeah. To have a factory, man. Nice.
You ever see yourself on a Shark Tank or something? No.
So, I have. I've seen myself being on Shark Tank, and I already see, mind you, I talk to myself, so I already envision this, right?
And that's not even in here, so
it's not in here, right? So, and if I went on the Shark Tank, I already got my script lined up. I'm going to turn down a deal, right? And that's only knowing what I know because of knowledge, right? So most people go to Shark Tank and that's their big break. That is great to kind of have some of those relationships that you desire, but then you're giving away a chunk of your business, right? But just that exposure alone to be on Shark Tank is all you need for your business to really take off and go to that next level. So I do see myself going on Shark Tank. I'm gonna have fun with everybody. Mr. Wonderful, man, Damon. I'm gonna have a good time. Like, hey, we got this popcorn. Well, Chris, we going out. No deal. No, y'all have a pop-tastic day.
$1 billion.
Hey, you talking about $1 billion? Then hey, hey, look, you talking billions? You talking to the B status?
Hey, BB,
come on, let's go ahead and let's do this thing right here.
BBC, Billionaires Boy Club.
Yeah.
So, or Black BM. Whatever. All right, let's go.
Yeah, but he was like,
I was trying to.
Who's trying?
What's the last thing you do before bed?
Okay. So I'm about to say, man, there's a lot of stuff I do before I go to bed. Brush my teeth. I make sure I got floss. Get lotion on. No, I was just playing. Last thing I try to do now is listen to something inspirational right before I close my eyes. I'm talking about that's that, how you listen or you watching something and it kind of make you like, because 9 out of 10, what the last thing that you do, you tend to dream about or think about. So if I think about something that's inspirational, or if it's just watching something on YouTube from somebody successful, a Gary Vaynerchuk, or Grant Cardone, whatever it may be, just to have that to be like to make me think to a higher level right before I go to bed. That keep me pumped for that next day. That's like, woo, let's get it, So I tend to be very conscious of what my eyes and my ears see right before I go to bed. And mind you, it do depend on the mood. I mean, sometimes I may listen to some nice soft music, before I go to bed. But for the most part, it's something inspirational, something motivational to really be like, man, I didn't think about that today, or tomorrow I'm gonna do that,
So it's like you got this. You follow the script of success or something like, cause it's literally what you do is literally everything that I do. Yeah. Everything.
So what's cool. I was just watching something from Les Brown. I'll give everybody watch Les Brown. He got some great information. Eric Thomas, I mean, he'll keep you pumped. Tony Robbins will keep you pumped. Grant Cardone will keep you pumped. Gary Vaynerchuk, he'll keep you pumped. But Les Brown just said, a lot of people read books, right? And they think that it's a secret to success. And there's really no secret. It's your rituals. It's your routine that you do, So like Think and Grow Rich, like, that book, that was kind of like the meal ticket, because it's basically telling you, man, how about you try to do some of these things, right? And create these new habits, right? And then you'll start seeing yourself make progress like never before, because now this is part of your daily life. Man, this is something that you do every day. It's just like most millionaires that I've read about, they tend to get up very early, and they probably have their little routine, that they do. Maybe some people may drink a cold glass of water, somebody may do jumping jacks. But what I realize is all of them have that 15 to 30 minute window, whether they're meditating or they just getting their whole thought. They don't check their emails, they don't go on Facebook, they don't do all of that. They start their day off clean, boom, hey, this is myself right now, this is what I want to do. Then they start diving off into the day. And what I noticed too is, and this is something that I want to start applying to my life, is having windows blocked off throughout the day, right? Just for myself, you know what I mean? And whether it's 15, 20 minutes, whether it's just closing my eyes and just, I'm going to take a quick quote-unquote nap, meditate, whatever it may be. But just have that time to be like, all right, let me get that refresher. You know what I mean? Like, I know people that have cigars, They have that cigar. It's like, look, man, I'm not, I ain't talking to nobody until this cigar done. When I'm done with this cigar, then it's action, But people, I mean, now mind you, people may say, well, I got a lunch break, or I got a break. Mind you, but how are you utilizing that time? You know what I mean? Are you on your phone? Are you doing something that's really not beneficial to you? You know what I mean? So a lot of times you'll hear people say, man, I worked, I'm tired. Then you have a break? Yeah, I had an hour break. Man, I'm just exhausted. Well, okay, but are you rebooting yourself? Are you doing what you need to do? I mean, sometimes working out is great for people, so that get them, for their second half of the day. So it's just really just finding that balance, on what works for you and creating healthy habits, right? Healthy doesn't just necessarily mean eating and exercise, but just healthy, from a mental standpoint, to where, hey, this is stuff that I do to keep me sane, to keep me going. It's just like now, right? I'm here, right? First thing I did when we got started, like, let me take my earpiece off, let me cut my phone off, because those are distractions. Naturally, if
you said those are what?
Distractions.
Oh, those are what?
Distractions.
What's the first chapter of my book?
Man, distractions. Come on, man, I read the book. Hey, look, listen. Hey, so it was cool even reading the book. I know we're going off into the book, but it was cool because it was like, man, he got it. Like, man, people reading it, everybody's not going to be receptive because they probably not be at that level yet. But for those that's at that level, it's like, yeah, I can relate to it.
When I was writing a book, consciousness was like, it don't matter they read it now, it's just pure energy. Yeah. The energy that the book was written in is going to, like, even if you have it, you can set it to the side. Yeah. But I guarantee you something in life is going to happen. Yeah. With that energy from that book is going to multiply in your life. Yeah. And that's exactly what I was told. So I don't care. It's one of the things where I was like, I'm glad I did it. Now moving on to the next one. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you know what? That's what it's about. I kid you not. I think a lot of time us as human, we get caught up on what other people think, right? Yes, sir. And I remember I had to have a self-evaluation, right? And a slight reminder to say, man, when my mama pushed me out, right? Let's go back from day one. My April 17th, 1987, when she pushed me out, man, I ain't have no clothes. I didn't have no house, no friends, right? Only person I technically knew at that time or had a bond to really was just my mother, right? But it's amazing how when you go through life, you have all of these attachments, right? And then you look for validation for so many people. And then you allow those things to hinder you from, going further or having progress. And I'm like, wait a minute, how did we get so caught up? It's just like, naturally when you got dreams, right? It's just like we talking, right? And some people may say, man, Maserati, yeah, right, man, this boy don't get no Maserati. Well, I don't care what you think, that ain't stopping me, Some people may say, man, why you want to waste his money on that? Well, look, but I don't get caught up on that, and even having dreams, sometimes you can't share your dreams with everybody, exactly. And if you do, you have to be a strong individual, right? To be able to withstand, because naturally people will attack you and attack your dream, just more so because they're not really doing anything positive or productive with their life. So all they can do is ridicule you and be like, oh man, I don't think that's gonna work. Man, you want to write a book, man, what you want to write a book? Ain't nobody gonna read it, right? But those can be, seeds of doubt if you're not strong enough, right, to be like, man, maybe you're right, ain't nobody gonna read my book, right? Yeah. So that's stuff that I just learned as an individual, to where, Chris, you came in here by yourself. You don't have to meet anybody else's expectation. If you say you're gonna be great, you be great for you. You be great for your own reasons, but don't allow it to be based off of somebody else, right? Okay, cool. We'll say God forbid or whatever. Hey, it doesn't matter, right? If I didn't get my Maserati, okay, somebody come and say, Chris, I thought you was getting your Maserati. What happened? Maybe I seen a Bentley that I like. I changed my mind on the Maserati. It's something else better.
It's something else better. But you know what I mean? But sometimes, saying that when you say certain things, you probably feel like, man, if they say something, they gonna say, man, you didn't accomplish, you know, you didn't. But hey, your expectations, as long as you set your own expectations and you're just striving for your own expectations, not nobody else's, you know what I mean? It's just something like even with my kids, right? Naturally, everything that I'm doing within my business is for the future, right? Now, I can't force my children to come in and take over the business. They got their own life to live, you know. If they want to be doctors, lawyers, or whatever, you know, and they say, Dad, I don't want no parts. Cool. I have to be willing to accept that and say, okay, cool, you know, no problem, you know. But hey, at least this was able to help you get to where you needed to go in life, you know. And I have to be perfectly fine with that, you know, knowing that, hey, everybody's not going to gravitate to my dream and support my vision the way that I support it. And it's okay, you know, and being okay with that to say, okay, I'm going to give it the best that I possibly have, you know, and I'm not going to let anybody stop me, you know what I mean, or anybody, for whatever reason, you know, I'm not going to let a word stop me, their actions stop me, you know. Sometimes I think a lot of people end up disappointed, right, because of the expectations.
Yeah, expectations.
Like, man, look, hey, man, you meet your own expectations, you know what I mean? Don't set high expectations for other people because you can't control those individuals.
I think a lot of people need to look at relationships the same way.
Oh,
you know what I mean? The same way, man, because you get into these relationships and people be expecting, and it's, you know, expectations be so high.
But you know what it is? You know what it is with expectations in relationships, right? You have now, you know, you have social media, right? So naturally, you know, everybody have their own desires, and they look at somebody else's relationship and they say, man, oh, that looks so nice. I want that too, right? And then the person that may genuinely love you, if they not giving it to you, now you feeling that, man, they not meet my expectations now because I wanted what they had, you know. So I think a lot of people just get caught up on what they're seeing. I mean, it's always this saying on Facebook, you know, a lot of people don't be fooled by that person's highlight. You know, Facebook is just really a highlight of a person's life, right? You know, hey, this they good day. Cheese, I got my makeup on, right?
Filters.
But you don't see them on their off day. So now you looking at the glitz, the glam, and it looks good, and now you trying to compare your life to just a highlight reel. And I said, man, that's for values. To be like, man, because so many people do it. You know what I mean? I see, man, people on Facebook, man, or just when I see people taking selfies, it's like, man, how many selfies you need to take, man? Like, I mean, what's the perfect pose? You know?
They call that narcissist.
Man, be like this. Like, look, take the picture. If it's not good, don't put it up, whatever. But you don't got to keep taking 1,000 pictures.
Not everybody can be Kim Kardashian. Man. And not even people know that she got a whole flock of people to make one picture look amazing. You know, so yeah, it's just certain things that stay in your lane. Yeah.
You know, that's something. There was a book. Who was it? Was it Eric Thomas? Eric Thomas. He had one. He had a podcast, and he was talking about stay in your lane, right, and dominate your lane.
Yeah.
Right. Dominate your lane. Right. So here it is. I'm a young entrepreneur. I sell popcorn. There's other people that sell popcorn. I mean, the biggest of the biggest is Garrett's. Right. What makes Garrett's great? They have the perfect real estate. Right. They got the downtown locations, right? Cool. Now, when I first started off, I wanted to try to compete, right? Oh, I'm better than Garrett's. I'm better. And then I started learning, wait a minute. Man, Chris, create your own lane. You know, man, let Garrett's be great. Cool, they make popcorn. You do what you do, you know? And because I always, when I started identifying, it was like, man, Chris, who is Garrett's though? I mean, people can relate to you. All they can just see is a name scribbled that say Garrett's on the thing.
You got personality.
I got personality. People don't even know what Garrett's look like. You know what I mean? But yeah, I love Garrett's.
A blue G.
Yeah. Like, okay, but I'm me. You know, I'm pop-tastic. So I'm going to stay in my own lane, and I'm going to dominate my own lane. You know, I'm going to be involved in the community, and I'm going to dominate that because I know that's what they not doing. So I'm going to create my own lane, and I'm going to dominate my own lane. But what happens is people be in their lane, but they trying to compete with somebody else. Don't compete. You know, if you're going to compete, dominate, you know, but create your own lane. You know, just create your own lane and be okay. You know, that, hey, I'm okay if I don't make $1 billion, you know, because it ain't about the money, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, cool. I just want to do greatness in this life. I want to raise the bar within my life, you know what I mean? Not that I have to compete with somebody else, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, I like that, man. That's Chris Summers, guys. Chris Summers, man.
How y'all doing?
All right, man. You pretty much knocked all the questions out of the way. So we're going to just pretty much sum this all up and wrap it all up, man. How can people reach you?
You can find me, MamaLee'sPopcorn.com, right? You can go to our Facebook page, Mama Lee's Gourmet Popcorn on Facebook. Christopher Sumner on Facebook. I don't do too much social media. I think I probably need to give me a little solid Instagram. I don't know yet. I don't know. You can find me. You can call me. Should I get my number out? Yeah, you can have my number. 847-789-6084. You can call me. I'll pick up. You got questions, we can talk. This is just me personally. So, yeah, you can call me, text me. You can text that same number, 847-789-6084. That's how you can find me. You can come to one of our locations, and you can ask one of my staff where I'm at, and they'll track me down for you.
Yeah, it's hard to get in touch with you, man. It's I mean, not like that, but it's because you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You got, and not only that, it's like what Steve Harvey said. You got to have your space time for you. You can't have yourself available for everybody,
Exactly.
and I respect that.
Yeah.
You know, that's why when I try to reach out to people, I give everybody their space. You know, I give a couple of days, whatever, and I'll send another nice little text message because, you know, it's difficult, man.
Hold on. See, he didn't mention how he tried to give me a couple weeks ago, right? And he was like, "Hey, Chris, I need you to come do a show." And I'm like, "All right, but cool. I ain't got a haircut." He like, "Nah, it's cool." I'm like, "No, it's not cool. I'm gonna try to make an appointment with a barber, right?" He like, "Nah, it's good." I'm like, "Nah." Then your girl see me. I'm like, "Look, see, I ain't got no haircut." She like, "Yeah, Chris." I'm like, "Nah, I'm not going on that boat."
Yeah, man.
Nope.
Yeah, no, I respect that.
Yeah.
I respect that. I was hurt.
He was heavy like, "Man, for real, Chris." He was like, "Man, it's all right. I ain't got a haircut either." I'm like, "No. Hey,
You can do it, but I can't.
I'm like, I cannot do it. Not me.
Yeah. So, words of wisdom to the people, Elgin?
Words of wisdom. Write your dreams down. Write them down, right? Come with a plan on how you're going to execute your dreams. You know, start envisioning the things that you want to have. You know, you can most definitely have everything that you desire. You know, sometimes you may have to cut people out of your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes if you connected, if you want greatness, but you're not surrounded by greatness, it's gonna be a little hard for you. You know, so maybe you want to cut some people off and be okay with cutting people off. It's okay, but most definitely just keep applying yourself. You know, if you get your no, it doesn't mean that it's a forever no. You know, maybe that means you just need to come back and revisit your strategy for whatever it is that you want. If the bank deny you, you know, okay, cool, whatever it is with your credit, you know, man, just get it in order. It don't mean, hey, well, they told me no, well, I'm going to just keep messing my credit up. I'm going to just spend the money that I had saved. No, you know, just keep revisiting your plan, write it down, and read. Advice? Man, I gave a lot of gold nuggets. I mean, you know, Think and Grow Rich. Man, Reese, Napoleon Hill, look at some of these authors that's out there. Because naturally, whatever it is you want to do, especially if you're going down the road of entrepreneurship, you know, you most definitely want to have some knowledge, mentors. Mm-hmm. You know, you want to be able to source that, you know, so that way you can kind of say, man, they kind of dealing with some of the stuff I'm dealing with, you know. Man, why they getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning? Maybe that give you that extra window or that extra time. You know, so most definitely educate yourself. Continue to learn. Please, one thing I can say is never be that person that you think you know it all. You know, because you can never know it all. You know, so man, go to the library, download Audible. You know, get you some of these books. You know, go on YouTube. Start putting the right frequencies in your earwave. Right? You need to hear the right information. You need to hear people positive and mind you can't flip flop. You know, that's one thing. I mind you, if you come in my car, like I don't listen to music in my car. It's silent. You know it. And mind you, so as we talked earlier, certain music, I don't entertain certain music because if I'm trying to go down this lane, I can't have this other music entertaining to me. No, because I'm trying to go down the lane of greatness, you know. So you gotta be careful of what you entertain, what you allow in your frequencies. So
to take it a little deeper,
Oh.
because always remember that everything vibrates on a frequency. Wealth, success, it all vibrates on a frequency. So what you put in your brain up in here and what you allow in your brain vibrates on the frequency.
absolutely.
So when you're not vibrating on that wealth frequency, but you're vibrating on the poverty frequency, that's why you're not going anywhere. So in order to vibrate on that wealth frequency, it's just like what Chris Summers said. Take time out to yourself, go to your God place, still those thoughts, and stop having certain thoughts come to your head that's going to hinder you. We got to understand we have to control our thinking.
I'm having a five. You hit it. It's gonna be.
And our thinking
We thought it was over. We finna go.
is the control of our reality.
Hey, that's true.
I mean,
That's true.
it's science. So
Yeah.
so guys, remember that.
Gotta
you
change
know.
that thought process.
Yes, sir. Thought
Man,
process.
that's it.
Yeah, man. I don't want to go too deep. We're
Look,
gonna-
what thoughts are you entertaining? That change the way that you. Let me give you a good one.
Go ahead.
I'm
Do you,
gonna
brother.
get a
Do you,
world
brother.
one good one, right? And this is gonna be good for everybody from any genre of life, right? The book, the story was in Harv T. Eker. It was in his book.
Mhm.
And there was a guy, right? Every holiday, the wife and her family would bake a ham. He never understood. Now, y'all listen to this because it speaks volume, right? On why we do some of the things is where you probably really need to revisit what you was taught and what you thought was right could really be wrong. So his wife and his mother, every holiday, they would cut off the front part of the ham and the back part of the ham and throw it in the garbage, right? And he never understood, like, man, why y'all cutting this part of the ham off, before they start cooking? So the wife said, well, this is what my mom always did. So he was like, man, so he went to his mother-in-law, and he asked his mother-in-law. He said, hey, can I ask you a question? Every holiday, you cut off the front end and the back end. I mean, my family, we never did it. Why? She was like, well, my grandmother did it that way. So he asked the grandmother. He's like, can you please tell me and sum it up, right? Why you cut off the front and the back part of the ham? So the grandmother broke it down. She said, well, growing up, we didn't have a big enough size pan, right? So that's why we was cutting off the front and the back. So all of this time, generation through generation, this bad habit, right, was passed on due to the fact that the grandmother at the time didn't have a big enough pan, right? So here it is, they got a big enough pan that's equipped, but yet and still they're doing some of the old traditions that doesn't even make sense. So it's just like, I remember growing up, you sweep your feet, you got to spit on the broom, you're going to have bad luck. Whatever, all the superstition and stuff. So a lot of the stuff that you think that could be right, or you may think that, hey, man, my family always did it. Just because your family and generations before you done something doesn't mean that it's right, especially even in poverty, right? Because a lot of times, a lot of people get caught up and they think, well, man, income tax time come, this is what we always do. We just blow the money. This is the time to go shop. This is the time to buy the car. But no, how about you break that cycle and say, man, this is the time for me to invest. You know what I mean? So everything that was done in the past doesn't necessarily mean that it needs to continue or it's the right thing just because your grandmother, your mother, your brother, whoever it is, they've done it. You need to start asking questions. And I think a lot of people don't ask questions, you know what I mean, to really get down to the root answer, to make that decision, to find out whether or not this is valid. You know what I mean? Compared, so many people just go with the flow and say, hey, this is the way we do things, like, okay, why? I like to ask the question, why? Why we do this? Please break it down. Because if it's not making sense to me, then it doesn't mean that I'm going to continue to do what's going on. So, food for thought, that's something that you all need to really take heed to. Is anything that you're doing passed down from generations, right? Break some of these generational curses, break those cycles, and just start using your brain and really start thinking, because just because grandma did something, the mama did something, does not mean that it's valid and it was the right way, or it's the right way, or it's going to help you get to that level. So maybe you need to start breaking some of those things up.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Hey, man, that's wrapping it up right there, man. Chris Summers, man, I appreciate you. Now, anybody else coming on this interview? I don't know what to say. Man, this was amazing.
Amazing.
Man. This was amazing. I appreciate you, brother.
Man, no problem.
Appreciate you, brother.
No problem.
You knocked it out of the box. And that's gonna wrap up today's interview, guys. One-on-one. I appreciate it. And Chris Summers, today's guest. And I'm Stephen Jacid, author, writer, Tell the World Understanding Oneself. And we'll definitely see you next week.
So in the end, I'm just praying that the struggle
coming from Chicago, you know, you see people out all the time.
You know, so you can still see that they were in a public outfit with Elgin too, y'all.
That statement comes from Pastor Dexter. When I say my work, I just have to do it. And so, you know, when I